Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related project. It is a multi-part project. This is part 1 where we are creating a financial analysis summary page. You can see the summary page where we have a financial data. On the basis of that financial data, we will prepare this dashboard. Here the important thing is we are seeing the effect of dynamic measure. So these are all measures, and when you will select them, so in our bar chart, you will see that these measures are dynamic. So on the basis of your selected KPI value. How to create this selected KPI with the help of a DAX expression. How to create your KPI selector dynamic table, and particularly for this waterfall chart, how to create this dynamic waterfall chart will be taught in this tutorial. Along with that, some designing elements like um, you know using these navigations. So in the second part, we will also create revenue analysis dashboard, but I will let you know what is the purpose of these buttons and how to navigate them to a different page. Everything that I am showing here, meaning of these charts, everything will be discussed. So let's get started. So the data set that we are using in this project is financial KPI data set by slides 2. This data set contains daily financial performance data for a business over 300 days in a particular year, and it is structured to track key financial metrics across three business lines which are given here. Columns are date, we have revenue, total income generated from sales on that day. Then we have COGS, cost of goods sold, direct cost to produce goods. OPEX, which is operational or operating expenses, that is overhead cost, rent, salary, etc. What is gross profit? Revenue minus COGS. What is EBIT? It is earning before interest and taxes. This is gross profit minus OPEX. And then we have interest and tax, estimated cost of interest and tax that this company has to pay to government or anywhere else. And then we have net profit, EBIT minus interest and tax, and finally business line, the business segment for the entry. Use cases in Power BI, Tableau, or Excel are you can create KPI cards, visualize expense breakdown by business line, track trends over time, compare profitability, etc. So we'll be using this data set for that particular purpose. So we will quickly open Power BI desktop, and because the file is given as a CSV file, I will provide this file to you guys. So I will connect this file where we have 300 rows, and we will connect it. After connecting the file, make sure everything is appearing properly. The most important part is if date is appearing properly or not. So when we will load it, after loading you can go back in the table view. So from here we can go back to table view and see that date column is properly visible. And if you want, you can make all these columns as monetary values if you want, because these are monetary values. Other than that, you can simply start structuring your dashboard. Again, when we will structure our dashboard, it is going to take a bit of time, maybe couple of minutes. So if you want to see that structure, please go with it. Otherwise you can skip 2 minutes, so that you can start seeing when we will build KPIs. So to build the structure, the first thing that we will do, we will go to insert tab, and from here we will create a tab, a rectangular shape. So this shape we will keep on the left hand side, okay, approximately this much of width, or probably less than that. Then in this shape we will apply some kind of color. So current color is this. If you want, you can use any color. So if for example this color code is 323240. If you want any other color, you can get that, but we will keep this color. Then we will insert an image. That image can be company logo or anything representing what we are doing here. So I have some assets here, and I will insert the image of my institute's logo that I just prepared. So this is something that you can prepare here. So just add, and next whatever buttons will be there, like navigation buttons, we will place them there. So now to create navigation, let's say this is our summary page. This is summary report, and first of all we'll add an image here, and that image will be this, right? So we will add this image here, and here we are going to use it. What you can do is you can create two versions of this image, one with some kind of color like this color, and other one as white. So for example, in Canva I have created this image. Second image I can create as white. Let me show you. Here we can choose a dark background, okay, or we can choose the same color as our this background. So again, this is all optional things that you can do to design it in a better way. But here when we will create that, so the background that I'm going to choose is, let me select the background, and here you can see, and now the color I will select is white. I will tell you why I'm doing this, and now you can download this image, okay. And next is we are going to create a duplicate of this. So let's say duplicate of summary will be something else. Let's say we want to show business line wise summary or revenue analysis, okay. So we'll rename it and say revenue. Now this is summary, this is revenue. In second one, because this is going to be another page, so here we are going to add that particular white image, okay. And since the background is same, although I can use a transparent background, but in free Canva you might not have that option, so you can use in the same position, but make sure it's in the same position, okay. So just insert the image in the same position and make it size same as this size, okay. And now replace the other one or delete the other one and just put it over it. So I will remove this and just add it here, okay. I will reposition etc later, but now it will create an effect like this is the main page now, and this is now not the main page, and some other page like revenue icon will be yellow here. So now let's create another icon. I know this is taking time, but these type of settings will help us in designing our dashboard. And similarly I have created two more icons, like one in yellow color and one in white color. So let's say we add this one, because this is summary page, so here we are going to add other icons as a secondary option, okay. And when it will be our revenue page, this will be the primary icon, like this will be the link. So this is the idea. Obviously when you will see it in action, then it will be easier for you to understand. So the idea is simply when you will click here, so when you will click here you will go to revenue, and this will say this is the current page, okay. We can use those kind of legends later. So this is how we are going to build pages. Next we are going to add the text box, and this text box is summary page, right. So this is basically financial analysis, and we are in the summary page. We can make it dynamic also, but we'll see later. And in the summary page we are going to use at least 16 or maybe more, because we have to use this. So this is financial analysis summary page, and we will just hold it there. So in our summary page we are now going to create some KPIs, and for our KPIs, first of all I'm going to copy the shape, because these are the shapes we are going to put our summary values. So like for example, here is our first shape, and in the first shape we are going to put total revenue. And to put total revenue, this is the text box. Let me copy the text. And so after copying it, or what we can do, let's remove the text. We can simply use a card visual, and in that card visual, first we will position the card visual just inside this box, and here we are going to put revenue, sum of revenue. In sum of revenue, let's say the call out value that we are going to use is 30. Okay, it is good. And there will be a category label also. So yes, so this is going to show sum of revenue. We can reduce it further. So let's click here, visual call out value, let's say 25. Or the main idea is we have to reduce this size. Okay, and once you will prepare one of them, then it will be easier for you to just copy the entire thing. Here in our main color, we are going to use the same color as this. So for call out value, I'm going to use the same color. So the color code is fed 254, fed 254, and this is our color. And here we are just going to write in category label, let's rename as dollar revenue. Okay, because it is that revenue. And for that also, if you want, you can use the same color. Okay, and make it bold. And for your call out value also, let's make it bold. Next thing what we can do, because it has a background, so we will simply go to effects and disable the background. So this will show revenue. What I'm going to do is, for category label, I'm just going to use another color. So now this will be our first KPI showing revenue. Next, copy the entire thing, paste it, and place it here. Okay, this time total operational expenses. So it is showing sum of OPEX. What if I write expenses? Okay, I will check the spellings later. If there is any mistake, let us know. Then after operational expenses, we can put gross profit. So let's say with gross profit, let's rename it as dollar gross profit. So I have just made 5 copies of it, and you can see. So we have revenue, expenses, gross profit, interest and tax, and finally net profit. And this prepares our KPI row. In revenue, we will not have this, we will have something else. These KPIs will help anyone reviewing the report and understanding, what is the overall profit, overall interest and tax, etc. Now we will just do one thing. This is our page canvas setting. So in our canvas background, we are going to choose a different color. It is FOEFF5 F0, and here we will use transparency at 0. And here in effects, I will remove background. So whatever reports we will bring or build, we will put some color, some white color background for them. So here, for example, I'm going to keep a bar chart like this. But before building the bar chart, I'm going to add a shape. So this shape is going to be a rounded shape, just like what we have done so far. And I'm going to use this much of height. For this shape, obviously you can see rounded corners are 25%. I will just make them 12%, because 12% we can put a square graph. For this shape, I will use a white color. So the color will be white, and there will be no border. So now this shape will be our area where we are going to work, and then I will add a clustered column chart. In this clustered column chart, we want to show monthly revenue, so or something, any other KPI that we want to show monthly. Okay, so let's say, so somehow I want to build dynamic KPI related chart. So first of all, in modeling tab we will go and create a new table that is going to have our KPI names. So we are going to name that table as KPI selector. We will create a data table. Okay, and this data table takes name type 1, name 2, type 2, and so on, and finally your data. So its name will be KPI string. This will be the data type. Okay, and it is the column values. So in this table we will have a KPI column, and you have to write your column values like this. Okay, and these values are, if you can see, this is OPEX, gross profit, EBIT, etc. So you can call them anything, but we are using the same names what we want from here. Okay, and then we will click OK. So this will create KPI selector. Let's go to table view. OPEX, gross profit. You can see KPI is the column name, and now we have the table here. Next, we will create a new measure to return this selected KPI. So to do that, go to financial data and create a new measure. Don't worry, I will give you these DAX expressions. So here we are using switch. Switch is used to create switch in cases. So let's say the selected value is KPI selector KPI. Okay, so we have selected some value in this KPI, and if that value is OPEX, then we will sum financial data OPEX. Okay, if that value is gross profit, we will sum financial data gross profit. So like whatever is selected, this particular measure, selected KPI value, is going to select that particular value. So that's how it will be a dynamic measure. Important thing will be to test it. So let's say we create a simple card here. Okay, this is just for test, and in this card we add. So you can see we are not seeing anything. If I add a slicer here, okay, so if I add a slicer here, and in that slicer I add our KPI selector. Okay, so if I add the KPI selector, we will see EBIT, etc. When I click this, you can see now we are seeing a dynamic value. Selected KPI OPEX 7.73, we can verify. Net profit 6.78, we can verify. So now this is showing us dynamic measure. And for this KPI selector, we will go, and in slicer setting we will go with a tile. Okay, after going with a tile, we can select them. So you can see now you are actually seeing a graph how to do that. So let's say I select EBIT. So for example, here what we have done, we have simply created a clustered column chart. In clustered column chart, in x-axis I have kept month, and in y-axis I have selected the KPI value, this dynamic KPI value. If I will select that, you will be able to see net profit, OPEX, etc. by month. Let's say we want to show net profit margin percent over different months, and we will select gross profit, income and tax, etc. here. So net profit and margin percent will be calculated with, when use divide function. You can use sum of financial data net profit. So in divide you can see in divide function we have numerator and denominator. So as a numerator you will select net profit, and as a denominator you will select what is the revenue, overall revenue. That will calculate net profit percentage, margin percentage, and here we will simply change this graph back to line and clustered column chart, where in line y axis we can put this. Okay, and what you can do now, we have a lot of settings here. For example, we have columns, so the color that we can select for columns is this, which is our primary color here. And similarly we have line, so for this line the color that we can choose is something like a gray color or maybe lighter than that. So this is the color. We can enable markers. Okay, and this will select our selected KPI value and net profit margin by month. So our selected KPI measure now is gross profit. This is now interest and tax, etc. So what we can do, this is general and this is title of our chart. Let's go with FX. So format style is field value. What field will be based on? So we will say selected KPI value. Okay. So because it is dynamic, we can disable it right now. And what we can do is we can just add a text box here. Obviously there are a lot of other ways of doing that, so let me add a text box here, or let's add a simple card here. In that card, okay, I will drag the KPI name and I will disable it, or I will resize it to 25 or maybe 20. So we have this, and here we have category label, so it will tell users what is selected. Okay, so you will be able to select that, and selected KPI value is OPEX here. So this is one way, and later we can, you know, write our title in a better way. So that was a concept with which you can create net profit margin percentage. If we say net KPI margin percentage, I'm just giving you, so whatever selected KPI value is, we will divide it by revenue, and we can do that, like what is the percentage. Okay, so something like that can be obtained from here, like 0.27, 0.25. And here in this chart, what we can do, we can also enable data labels. When you will enable data labels, you will have more data. Okay, so by doing a quick search, you can see the break even point is where the total revenue equals total cost, meaning no profit, no loss, and it is crucial for understanding how much you need to sell to cover your cost. Break even points units is equal to fixed cost divided by selling price. So in our case, the data set, break even revenue is fixed cost plus variable cost, and fixed cost is rent, salaries, etc. Variable cost is cost of goods sold, commission, etc. So like we can have OPEX plus interest rate is break even revenue. And if any financial expert is viewing this and you want to correct us, you can correct. Obviously we will create another video with the corrected values, but here if we create a new measure, and in that new measure we say that this is break even point, what is sum of financial data OPEX plus sum of financial data interest and tax. Okay, so let's say break even point will be created, and what if we add that break even point in the column y axis? So you can see we have the break even point here. So here you can see selected KPI value is this, break even point is given here. When we have selected net profit or interest rate or gross profit, we can view that. And I am saying we are creating a template here. uh, Correct formulas etc can be based on some suggestions also, but this is a way we can display the data. Next, what we can do, we can select column colors. So for here we have series, let's say we have a selected KPI value. So for our main KPI value we will select like this, and for break even point let's select a gray color. Okay, or we can select a further light gray color. So this way we will have the gross profit, selected KPI value, break even point, and net KPI margin percentage. So on the basis of that, we can create that, and it will be all dynamic for operational expenses or gross profit. So you can keep it like that. And in your visual, for example, we have columns here, and we can selectively uh, enable or disable data labels. For example, if you will do it for all, let's say we want to show it for KPI value, but we don't want to show for break even point. Okay, we want to show for net margin, so you can do it like that. So that is your choice. Let's say for break even point also we want to show, so it will show like that. So that is what you can do here. And this is your color, and in columns you can have color border also, like you can see border width is given, transparency is given. We can match column color. Okay, whatever column color is there, we can decide with. There are many such settings that you can do for your line also. Currently it is shown as dash, you can show it as solid, you can show it as dashed as well. To proceed further, we will create a dynamic waterfall chart. This dynamic waterfall chart, we are calculating revenue, COGS, etc., etc. And here we could have used sum, but because we are using it out of the row context in a different table, so basically we'll go to modeling tab, create a new table, and this is our new table. So that's why we are using the calculate function, and we are returning union of all these rows. So if there are 7 different variables that we want to put as step and value, so step will be revenue, then value will be a calculated revenue, step will be COGS. So in waterfall chart, first of all you will create something like that. I will give you the DAX query, and we have explained waterfall charts in our previous examples also, and this is basically the waterfall chart. So let me create that just below our main example. Okay, now in this waterfall chart, when you will go, you will see you will have a category, you have a breakdown, you have y-axis and tooltip. We have these 4 options. And when our new table is created, you will see a step and value are there. So we will use a step and value here. So we'll use a step as a category, and we will use value on the y-axis. So you will see revenue, gross profit, COGS, EBIT, etc. will be displayed now. And here we are also seeing the total value. And here you can see we have different columns, like you can see, you can show or hide total column. Let's do that. Now you can see the COGS and interest and tax are negative, because what we have done here is we are just displaying them as negative values. So basically revenue is positive, COGS is negative, because this is the cost of goods sold. This is gross profit, which is result of revenue minus COGS. OPEX is negative, EBIT is gross profit minus OPEX, and interest is negative. So we can assign negative sign here. Currently we are assigning them manually, and some of them will be calculated. So after this you will be able to see the waterfall like this. Now what we can do here, so one thing that can be done, we can go here, legend can be turned off, we can enable the data labels to show the values, and we can go to columns, and increase can be shown with something from the theme. So like we have selected this yellow color over here, and this decrease, this is okay, so we can show the decrease like that. So this is sum of value, it is showing as sum of value by step, but we can show it in a more better way. So this is basically progression of financial metrics. I saw a similar chart somewhere and try to copy some of the steps from here, but this will be progression of financial metric, and this is something that we can keep as this, or we can change the title color. For example, we can change the title color like this, make it bold, okay, or increase its font size, or if you want to do that. So, and here also for that we can go to general tab, effects, and in effects we can enable a visual border with white color, but select 12 pixel as rounded corner. We can show the graph like this as well, like increasing the size of our KPIs. If we want, we can put more KPIs over here. Next thing is, in the background we can select a background color, let's say this, and font color, let's say like this. Okay, so this way it will be as per our theme. For this KPI metrics also, we can go to general tab, effects. Here also we can enable a visual border like white color and select 12 pixel. So this is our simple chart, and anything else that you want to add as a filter you can add here. But this is our simple financial analysis summary page. So if we want, we can increase the size also to 20, and so one page is created. Now we will simply copy this, and in the revenue analysis page we will add that. For revenue analysis page also, you can see in our canvas background that we selected this color. So here also we can, in our revenue page also, we can select the same color as our background with a transparency of 0 pixel, and this is going to be revenue analysis report or dashboard, whatever you want to call it. This is something that we are going to do in the second part. And now you will click here in action, you will use page navigation and select revenue here. Okay, sorry, this will be nothing, so this will be none, but this one will be revenue. So we will select page navigation and it will take us to revenue, and here in revenue we will click here and take it to take back, or because we are going to create multiple pages, so we will do page navigation and select summary. So this way we can create these page navigations as well, and if we want we can select this color as well. So this is the first part where we discussed about creating a financial analysis summary page. The second part we will create a more detailed revenue analysis page where we are going to put more dashboards. And now you can try this much, apply these different type of dynamic variables and see how it is affecting your analysis or helping your analysis. So I will provide you the data set, etc., everything details in the description, so check that out. I will also provide you link of other type of charts, other type of projects on the financial analysis, so you can check them out as well. If you learned something from this video, please like this video, and if you have some suggestions, please ask your questions or put your suggestions in the comment section below. Please subscribe to our channel to receive more video tutorials like this.